Hey guys, it's Nick with Program Practical, hitting you up today with a new video on a product review of Balsamic Mockups 3. And I've been playing around with a lot of different tools like Sketch, of course there's Illustrator, as well as some free online stuff, places like Draw.io and other stuff. And I've decided my tool of choice will be Balsamic. I am just absolutely loving the software and want to give you guys a good product review on this software, as well as infos on that giveaway that I had mentioned in an earlier video. All right, so we're trying something new today, and that is I'm almost giving you guys my monitor's full resolution. I work on a 21:9 monitor, one of the ultra wides, and YouTube just, it doesn't deal with that resolution well. Because we're jumping into Balsamic, doing some mock-up stuff, I figured I'm going to expand my screen a little bit. One of the nice things is, of course, the speed of Balsamic. It's really nice and quick, which is good because it is supposed to be like a pen and paper approach, and you can quickly switch things out. That's one of the reasons why I don't like Sketch. I don't like these heavier pieces of software, because I don't feel like I can interchange things quickly, and that's why I prefer actually sketching things out on pen and paper first. But with Balsamic, I'm actually really happy to do this on the computer, and yeah, and and once again, just the look. So we'll pull a browser in here. We'll set this to mysite.com/ fonts or something, I don't know. So we have this nice little screen layout here, and once again, just straight from the get-go, it looks like a mock-up, but it doesn't necessarily have to. You can even switch the skin over to wireframe if you want more of a mid-fidelity kind of look, where it's a little bit cleaner. Maybe this is what you want to use when you're chatting as a team and kind of playing around, quickly switching things out, and then but what you wouldn't present to the client, something that looks a little bit more professional, but clearly is just a mock-up. You could switch the skin over to that, and we'll get to that later too. So first thing we have our little website panel here, which is nice. Let's go ahead and create that header, and you can see up here you can jump around to all these different items, and that's awesome. They even have tons of icons. We'll get to these a little bit later, but there are a good selection. What I love about this is you'll notice too there's an iOS one. There's also a website you can go to, and they have just tons of public templates for things, even bootstrap templates. So if you want that good, a good looking template, maybe for, if you wanted to start doing some mid frames. And as you see, this is pretty nice looking. So you could even get away with maybe a hi-fi with this, or, you notice there's iOS by default, but not Android. But you can see even with these, it still has that sketchy kind of look to it. Anyways, this is a great place to get more content than just what you have here. But just from the get-go, they give you so much content that honestly, I've never even had to go to the other site because I have everything I need. The other thing I like about this is it doesn't matter if I'm developing for a website, an iPad, an iPhone, or Android for that matter. I can use these same kind of assets and give it the same look. This is a nice fluid. It looks the same everywhere, and that's why I like that. So as we can jump through here, I'm actually going to just jump up here and do a quick search, and this is a great way to kind of go through all of these assets and find what you need. So we're just going to add up here a little thing to be a placeholder for the logo. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this because I'm not too sure the dimensions on things. And you can do a rectangle here to kind of show off this is the rest of the header. I'm going to do this line of text. And it's one thing I love about this site is, it's supposed to be a quite literal sketch. So it's just kind of, what you would do when you're sketching this on paper. You just kind of scribble over the top, and that's what I'm going to do up here, because those are links to other pages that we don't care about. So I'm not going to bother going through with much more. And we also want to add in an image here because on the site we have user icons. And we're going to pop that down like that. And that looks good. So that's pretty similar to our header. Now, one of the cool things about Balsamiq is you can make your own symbols. And symbols are a really cool way of kind of having your own assets. So symbols let you reuse common elements and that kind of stuff. So we can go in, sorry, and from the base have our, these are some sample ones. So they have like this little share thing. You can even add labels to them. It's kind of, nice. One thing we will want is a little symbol for our sidebar. It's a little complicated of a thing, and it's a good way to kind of show it off, I think. So what we'll do is we'll create a new symbol here. It's going to be a rectangle, and I don't need to be too big. I'll probably just do that. Okay. So we're gonna trying to think of a good way to do this. Okay. Increase that font size a bit, and then below this we usually have, this is a vertical menu, a bunch of different icons and stuff like that, just a bunch of random things. So what we'll do is we'll put in an image, or do an icon. Actually, and so here's the cool thing about the icons. This is all Font Awesome icons. So for this first one, I know it's like an account setting, so we'll just do a search for a cog, and there's some cogs. So we'll click on that, bring this in like so, and we can play with the different sizing. I like medium. In fact, if you want to see more of them, by giving that button a click, you can actually see the full icon library. If you're looking for something in particular, you want to see things broken into groups, really a great way to grab things. And of course, you can do the quick add if you know what the name is. They all follow the Font Awesome name. And then we'll have a line of text in here. We're not going to worry about what that text actually is. Because once again, these aren't really clickable, so it doesn't really matter that the text matches, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's fine. So one of the nice things about this too is the ability to copy and duplicate. So first thing, get that unselected, is we're going to duplicate with, I'm on a Mac, so it's going to be the Command and D key, and we're going to kind of just bring that down where we want it. I think that looks good, but here's the thing: if I do Command D again, it actually remembers that spacing and starts jumping it out. We can also jump in here and change this to like what is it? It's like a page. Just trying to go off of memory on what these things are, and I guess it doesn't really matter that it matches too much. I think there's like an email. There's some users. I don't know. Let's just say, let's make this a pencil. And what should we do for the last one? For the last one, why not go ahead and check in here and look. Just find something that looks good. Let's do like a folder, like it's like a library or something. So that works. And now we have this nice little thing. The final thing we want to do is group this together. That way Symbols knows this is a group. It's supposed to be on here and stuff like that. So just the Mac key in G puts that into a group. We can give this thing a name. So rename this to sidebar. And now we have a reusable element. So we jump back over to Mockups. We can pull that in by just going to symbols, and we can even search for it. And there we go. So I'm going to pull this in right here. Oops, let me take that back real quick. I'm going to bring this down like that. And that looks great. The next thing I want is a little tab bar up here, and we're going to have font settings and font uploads, and you'll see that will automatically make 2 individual tabs. I'm going to bring this out, and there we go. So I'm going to actually rename this to font settings, because that's what this is, and then we're going to duplicate this and rename this to font uploads, like that. All right, and then we're actually going to give these a little bit of purpose. So if I come in here, we can say like this one, the selection is font settings, and then we can even say this should be font settings and this should be font uploads. So you can see now there's little link icons next to it saying these are linked. And we'll show you what that does later. And this one's going to be font uploads. And then this should be font settings and font links. So this is actually giving us some usability control. I'll be able to show you that in a bit once we have more. Actually, you know what? We can probably get away with showing it now. So like I mentioned, we have a few different ways we can view this. So right now we are in the sketch mode. This would be the wireframe mode, which you'll see just cleans it up. Instead of the scribbles, now we just have some blank boxes for text. Just much more proper. We can also change the font if we wanted to, add a project description, or we can even jump into a preview mode, which just kind of shows where I am at. And we can see you can jump between the two. So now I'm in font uploads, which the only way you can really tell is this, the fact that this is a little bit lighter than this is now, and I can jump back to font settings, which of course gets us back to here. And we'll experiment with that more once we have some stuff filled in. So let's jump out of here. I'm going to jump back into sketch mode because I really like this sketch mode. So a few other things we can do here. We'll add in our font settings. So the way we did this, or the way I had this mocked up before, is we have, so in our little settings, we have a well, not a line of text. Let me just jump into text real quick, and there we go. We'll use a label and bring this in here like so, and I'm going to set that to a header 1, and we'll make that nice and big. Size 18 should be a little bit more, 24. That should be fine. So we had a header, and then essentially what this did is allowed you to change font settings in the app, and we have a drop down that gives you Google Fonts. So if I just start typing in drop down, now obviously they're not called drop downs, they're called combo box, but the program's smart enough to know what you're looking for, and it's like, oh, you want a combo box, and I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I want. Thank you for being intelligent. We're going to pull this out to here, and I'm just going to set this to Google Fonts. I'm not interested in making a big list, and there's good documentation on the site on all you can do with that, but that's what we're going to do for now. We also allowed for color picking and weight selecting, so I actually need another combo box. So I'm going to just duplicate this, bring that down, and we'll say weight Once again, not really looking to get options, but, and then we'll look for a color picker. And of course there is one. It's a nice clean looking color picker. So that looks good. So let's actually just grab these, and I'm just going to duplicate it. And just like before with when we're making this, I can just start duplicating it, and it's just going to duplicate it down a few. And then we actually would have a little paragraph here to kind of show off what that could be. What was it? A text? Just text. So text fields are interesting, and there are tons of options on what you could do with these things. They allow for, as you see, there's so much going on right here, and if you just jump into it, you'll see there's just so much formatting you can do, and I believe it's all markdown formatting. And they do so much power through these little things. They even have like these awesome data grids. I highly recommend looking them up. This example unfortunately just doesn't have a reason to have a data grid, but you can make like full columns, rows, whole like grid, like you'd see in a, a grid. I don't know what else to tell you. It's like a whole table, and you just have this insane formatting power behind it. All which can be done super easy, and it's one of those things where this takes no time. My boss comes in and he's like, well, what if we don't, maybe we don't have this weight here, or maybe instead of doing this, we're going to have a search field. Great. I can switch that out, duplicate that back down again, and it takes no time. And because we are in this kind of looks like a very hand-drawn sketch, you don't feel like there's been too much work put into it, even though there may have been a lot of work put into like the design and redesign. But given that it doesn't look like it, it helps people be a little bit more honest about, just kind of what they think and what they might want to change. And yeah, so, that's one option. I'm also just going to pull in this block of text, which is awesome. The block of text can do the same kind of formatting and stuff like that. It's just from the default, it has all this scribbled in methods. So that's, we'll call this finished for here. I guess it'd be good to have like some kind of a submit button, huh? So people can like save their changes. And this isn't good UI placement or anything. I'm just kind of randomly going about this. But that's the goal, right? Like I can quickly push this out, send it off to my boss, and he can come back and say, well, what about the submit button be somewhere else? Or, there's a lot of different things we can do. Now for the file uploads, that's pretty simple too. What we would probably want is a label and maybe like choose your font or something like that. I don't know. Something simple. So a little font uploader, and we can grab that block of text again. And then this kind of has like instructions for them, like this is the file uploader, or do this and this and this, and you can, text I wouldn't write myself. I'd be getting from my boss, on how he wants it to be represented. So yeah. And let's say, well, I don't really like, this scribble and stuff, especially because, when we jump in here, it's going to be like this wireframe. I kind of have a style in mind, or I have like a font thing in mind that I would prefer to use, and that's great. One of the cool things you can do if you don't want this, of course, just click on it, and then we'll have that filler text, which is awesome because it kind of shows you again, hey, this is how you can format this. But another thing we can do is by type in the lorem ipsum, and all you have to do is type in lorem, and bam, just straight up text filler, and that way you can make it match the text you're looking for, make it feel a little bit more rounded off. Once again, moving you from lo-fi to mid-fi, and getting you into there. So let's see, we do have a cloud upload. Let's grab that icon real quick, and what we're going to do is we're going to make like a little click box. Also grab a rectangle real quick. So it's going to be like a little box you can click on until it's like, I want to upload my file here, bring that to the top. I'm just going to group those together so they don't get moved around. And I will probably want them, I mean, you could just like name it off of whatever the file name is, but we're gonna just drop in font name, like something simple, you know, and then just one more button. Make it a little bit wider, submit, and blow that out a little bit larger like that. That looks good. Honestly, I'd probably to move these instructions off to the side and then move these guys up. Something like that. I think that looks good. Okay, so yeah. So there's a basic little file uploader thing we can have here. So they can submit their own fonts to appear in the list. And then, of course, you know, we can jump in and check out the wireframe to see kind of what it would look like in a higher fidelity. Still not high, just I would call this mid. And yeah, I mean, I like it. I think it looks great. Now, another thing we can do, which I think is really cool, is we can come in and let's say we want to actually have this image. This is a user avatar. And let's say we want, you know, we don't want these little X's all over the place. Once again, it's fantastic for lo-fi. I mean, this is the perfect blend of the speeding with sketch mixed with a nice lo-fi model. I want this to be something better. Grab my image there. So here's my user avatar, which you may have seen around online. And, you know, that's great. And honestly, if we were doing a mid to high level fidelity, this would blend right in. But it's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, I have this all sketched out model, and then I have this avatar. Well, you can actually, an awesome feature is their Sketch It feature, which if you do that, it will actually sketch the icon out of it. I'll show this a little bit more. Bring this to the top. There we go. So that's what this thing looks like, all sketched out. So this was the before. This is a low resolution image too, so it is pretty blocky. I would actually, something I just don't have on my computer, but I would love to see a more high resolution image get sketched. Like I mentioned, I don't know how this resolution is coming through on YouTube, but it is it's only okay on, you know, on here. It's still pretty blocky, but you can do this Sketch It feature. I'm going to actually snap it back down. There we go. So we can do this Sketch It feature to kind of make it feel like it belongs a little bit better. And we can jump over to here, and you can see it really does seem to blend in well. At least it matches all the color schemes and stuff like that. And of course, we can jump into the preview mode once again to kind of show this off. So we have our font settings here, and we can play around with it, but we can jump over to our font uploads, and we have that nice little transition, so they can see kind of how it bounces around. So that is yeah, I mean, it's just one of the many things you can do with Sketch. But overall, this has been, I'm going to try and cut some stuff down, but we're looking at about a 30-minute video here. So I'm going to wrap this up But anyway, so this is Balsamic's Mockup 3. It is a fantastic design tool, one that I use anytime I need to do a design, and I'm happy to announce we are going to be giving away a license for this software. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Some details on this giveaway. When this video gets posted, our giveaway will be going live. There'll be a link below, and maybe a link over here if I remember to do that, taking you to Program Practical's blog post with the giveaway form. It's just going to be a follow me on Twitter kind of thing, and of course share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing will not increase your chances for winning the giveaway. It's just if you want to be in on any more future giveaways or anything like that, make sure you subscribe. Normally this software retails for around $80, which I think is fully worth it. If you want to play around with this, I'll also leave a link below to their website, and you can download Balsamic Mockup 3 for I believe it's a 15-day trial, and of course enter in the contest, and one lucky subscriber or one lucky contestant, I guess would be the proper wording, will get Balsamic Mockups 3 for free, courtesy of Balsamic themselves, because they are an awesome company. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Check below in the details again, and until next time, this has been Nick with Program Practical. I'll catch you guys next time.